I'm in the big leagues, so they don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly.
Welcome, football fans, USFL fans, but most importantly, Houston Gamblers fans, to another episode of Gamblers Table Talk with Ace. I'm Ace, and it is a great week, and I'll tell you why it's a great week. It's a great week because it is Victory Wednesday. It is Victory Wednesday. There are 3 Victory Wednesdays up there because this is our 3rd Victory Wednesday in a row. It has been crazy. I am absolutely loving it. The Gamblers have gotten it in gear from a disappointing week 1, a close loss in week 2 to the Breakers, mostly the consensus number 1 Breakers, and then going and just chugging along 3 weeks in a row, getting better every week, looking better every week. And man, it feels good. It feels good to be a Gamblers fan. That's not something that we really could say a lot other than, Chris Odom winning Defensive Player of the Year and guys moving up to the NFL. But as far as actual winning of the team, this is one of the first times where you just feel so good. You feel so good. So let's move on to our week 4, Gamblers, winners, and losers. This means week 4 against the Stallions. What were things that we liked? What were things that we didn't like? The first thing that we always like is, let's go back and forward. And Mark Thompson. That's it. Mark Thompson. Oh my gosh. Now, I'm not saying that's it for the winners, but Mark Thompson, that's it. That's the tweet. Wow. He's dominant. He's insane. People were comparing him to Wes Hills. Last week, I was trying to make a case against Wes Hills with him. Now it's just him. He is atop the mountain. Wes Hills has 8 touchdowns in 4 games. He got absolutely stopped. He had 38 yards on the ground, 0 touchdowns this week. Mark Thompson is not slowing down. He had 2 touchdowns. Then the next week he had 3 touchdowns. And then this week again, he had 3 touchdowns. Let's watch him. Let's watch those touchdowns. Oh my gosh. And the thing I love is that you may think that you're watching the same touchdown 3 times in a row, but he literally just could not be stopped on within the 10 on the right sweep. I mean, just the right side, weak side toss. That's all it was. And the man took it. He's a man possessed. If you want to listen to him, he's been in the last 3 press conferences. They're all on the USFL Network YouTube. Go check that out. This dude is crazy. All right. Now, winner number 2, dominant on all 3 levels. We got a sweet picture there. My man, Tim Bonner, last chance you star, but now Gamblers playmaker. All 3 levels of the Gamblers were working this week. We had the offense. It was a little slow. We didn't have Kenji in, but then Terry Wilson goes for a 50-yard bomb to Anthony Ratliff-Williams. We got Mark Thompson with 3 rushing touchdowns. Our defense absolutely stuffed their run with Zaquandre White and what's his name? CJ Marable. I mean, crazy. But the important thing is that special teams. What did I say last week? Special teams has to be a given. It's a necessary. Like, we cannot miss field goals. We cannot give up yardage on kickoffs. And this play right here, I mean, Tim Bonner shows that every level is killing it. I don't think they got past the 40 on any kickoff but this one, and then Tim knocks it out. So we got the ball back. That was probably our worst offensive drive, was this one, because then we ran the ball 4 downs in a row instead of kicking a field goal, and it was tough. But we're clicking on all cylinders, and you absolutely love to see it. So we have a 3rd winner. This is a special winner. Shut down Magoo mentally. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you didn't shut him down. He had over 200 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and like 60 yards rushing. Okay, his 2nd passing touchdown was a late garbage time touchdown. There was 10 seconds left on the clock. They weren't going to get the 4th down. Even if they did the 4th and 12 play, the game was over. Okay, that was a garbage time touchdown. To say that it was a 1-score game is honestly ridiculous. But this was one of my keys. This was my number 1 key last week, was that we had to shut down the Magoat, Alex Magoo. And mentally, he was upset. Look at this man. He was banging his helmet on the ground. He was angry. And in the press conference, did not look happy. I was the only one to ask him a question. I heard that it was because he looked like he was on the verge of tears. He was in pain. His ribs hurt. And me being on Zoom, I didn't know that. So I asked him a question about his ribs. But I was able to talk to Isaiah Chambers in a special bonus episode of Gamblers Table Talk, which after you finish this episode, go check that out because it's dropping later tonight after this drops. But here's a clip about him talking about Alex Magoo.
Yeah.
This week, the number 1 key to beating the Stallions was containing Magoo. It was just keeping him in the pocket, not letting him run, because while he may not be the best passer in the league, he is one of the better runners. So I was wondering, what was the game plan to make sure that he wasn't just going to bust out runs and move outside of the pocket and make plays against him?
we pretty much didn't really have a game plan around him doing that because we pretty much don't want any quarterback running. He got a couple of runs on us, that extended some drives that we didn't like, but man, we pretty much just go rush. We rush, don't get upfield, don't get too far up the quarterback. We rush the same guy every week. You know what I mean? We know he was dangerous with his legs, but we just tried to pretty much just stay in our rush lanes.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't a specific QB contain or anything.
No, sir. Maybe we need to do that now,
huh? Maybe for this week. So the big takeaway from that is that they weren't doing anything specific. They weren't doing QB contains. They weren't doing QB spies. And the fact that they still were able to pretty much shut down the Birmingham offense, other than 2 big runs by Alex Magoo and a garbage time touchdown, and they had one good drive. Literally, they had one good drive where they were able to hit CJ Marable out in the flat and get in the end zone. Otherwise, they were pretty much stopped. Their run game from the backfield out of their running backs was non-existent. So that was fantastic. It was very fun. So love talking to Isaiah. Make sure you go check out that bonus episode. Again, it's dropping right after this one. But the big things were that they just had to stay in their assignment. All they had to do was make sure that they weren't trying to be the guy, just be a team player. Stay in your assignment, rush where you're supposed to rush, take on the blocks you're supposed to take on, and the rest will follow, which means that they haven't even done anything crazy, and we'll talk about that later for this week. But moving on, the losses. TJ Pledger got hurt. So TJ Pledger, he was hurt, put on the inactive list, came back, was in this week, and it was great. It was like, wow, this is everything that you wanted. You wanted Mark Thompson and TJ Pledger, 1-2 punch. Mark Thompson came in, and he was the absolute finishing move. TJ Pledger was able to do things in the passing game, in the midfield, movement in no man's land. TJ hurt his hand. He is now on IR, which means that we're going to see a lot more Shamari Jones, which is not a bad thing, because in the Stars blowout, when we absolutely dominated them, TJ was hurt. He was on the inactive list, and we had Mark Thompson and Shamari Jones. Now, a lot of people probably didn't even notice that Shamari was in, because him and Mark are very, very similar backs. He's 1 inch shorter and 10 pounds lighter than Mark Thompson. Both of them, one cut, downhill, bowl you over type running backs. I think we're going to be okay. I would not be surprised if we saw another running back be picked up. So watch the waivers, turn your notifications on for both me and the Gamblers official Twitter and Instagram. So moving on. Losers number 2 is that we need to finish strong. So this game was not a 1-score game. The score does say that, but like I said, that was a garbage time touchdown. If you want to make a real statement, if you want to be number 1 on the power rankings, you have to put your foot on the throat and finish the kill. You cannot let them do this garbage time stuff, because what if something happens where, they do get lucky, they get that touchdown, they get the 4th and 12 and instead of an onside kick, and then they go and they score on you. You need to absolutely put them down. We needed to stop them. I'm getting nitpicky. That's very nitpicky, because it was a great week. We got the 3rd win in a row. We looked the best we've looked, absolutely dominant on offense, even without Kenji Bahar, which is just crazy. So this is me being nitpicky, but we really, really need to shut down teams. So Gamblers news this week. There wasn't a lot of news, so we're going to rehash something. TJ Pledger, again, hurt his hand, transferred to the IR list. There was actually a lot of players for each teams. I think 6 of the teams had at least one player that was moved down. Carson Strong for the Panthers, TJ Pledger for us. These are big hits, but I think that we can move on without TJ for now. Hopefully he gets better, and if we are able to make a playoff push, I absolutely want TJ back. So that's something we want to watch. But another cool thing is that I don't know if you guys pay attention to RJ Young. There's a lot of controversy on whether or not he really watches the games. Whatever, I digress. He put the Gamblers as number 1 in the official USFL power rankings this week. So here's why I don't actually hate this. Now, the Showboat's at 4. That's a little crazy. That's kind of overhyping when they finally put something together and they've barely pulled out 2 wins. But whatever. A lot of people are mad that the Breakers are number 2 on his list and that the Gamblers are number 1. This is why I don't hate that. Everybody says, their record, the Breakers have 1 more win. Okay, cool. Power rankings, it's not literal, score rankings, right? Like, it's not, this is your record. It's not that. Power rankings are that he thinks if the Breakers and the Gamblers played this week, that the Gamblers would win. That's what it means. He's not going off of what their record is right now. He's going off of who he thinks right now, with the personnel that they have, with the injuries they have, which team is playing better. And in my opinion, Yeah, it's the Gamblers. The Breakers just lost to the Showboats, okay? The Gamblers just beat the Showboats 3 weeks ago. The Breakers didn't look good. Wes Hills was shut down. As soon as they shut him down, McLeod Bethel-Thompson did not look that good. I had him in fantasy. Dude had 6 points. He was terrible. So maybe we've cracked the code. Maybe we'll see a decline of the Breakers where we're seeing nothing but incline from the Gamblers. So I don't hate this. Yeah, the rest of the rankings are a little weird, but Gamblers are number one in my power rankings. I had them at number one. You know, the community power rankings came out. You didn't see mine specifically, but now you know I had the Gamblers at number one. So do with that what you will. But moving on to the 3 keys to beating the New Jersey Generals. This is a game that I've been nervous about, very nervous about. And one of the main reasons is that key number 1 is make DeAndre throw. This man is crazy. DeAndre Johnson ran a 4.35 40 coming out of college, which is fast. I mean, that's fast for a DB. That's wicked fast for a DB, for a wide receiver, insane for a running back. But for a quarterback, it's almost unheard of. That's ridiculous. You shouldn't be able to run that fast and also throw the ball, which he kind of can't. The dude is not incredibly accurate, especially when you're actually making him sit in the pocket and throw the ball and hit touch passes, hit accuracy. The dude's going to hit something when you blow a coverage. The guy's going to hit a screen out in the flat. But if you can contain him and make him actually throw the ball, actually play the full traditional quarterback position, I think he falls apart. And I think that's where you see Kyle Laletta come in, and then that's kind of cake. That's how the Stars were able to beat him, right? So the big thing earlier, when I played that clip with Isaiah Chambers, you saw that they didn't do anything special this week against the number 2 running quarterback in this league so far, Alex Magoo. They just played their assignments and they were able to contain him. So this week, maybe you throw a little bit of contain in there. Maybe you have a spy on some plays, you know. There's a lot of things that still haven't been done on this defense that people don't have on tape and can't watch to know how to play against. So I think we can still stop DeAndre. And if we can do that, make him throw the ball, I think that'll help the defense a lot. But key number 2, run defense, keep it up. Look at this play. We have Dan Link, we have Donald Rutledge on the bottom. You can't really see him. And then we have Kalen Tolson absolutely destroying, I believe that's Quandre White. The rush defense was insane this week. They were stuffing it. You know, they were coming in, filling the gaps. There was nowhere for the running backs to run for the Stallions. So we have to keep that up. We have to keep that going. We are going against the reigning offensive player of the year this year in Darius Victor. Last week, he had 3 fumbles. He's going to bounce back. We just need to make sure that's not this week. Then they have Trey Williams. Trey Williams is crazy electric. The dude can move side to side so fast. This is a 1-2 punch that we definitely have to keep our rush defense up. We definitely have to play our assignments. We can't get undisciplined. Last week, we had 0 penalties, which wasn't a fluke. And we need to make sure that we're keeping that up. Be disciplined. Play your assignment. Fill your gaps. Good things will happen. Now, key number 3, Kenji back. Now, this isn't 100% certain, but it's very probable, highly probable that tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to see Kenji move back onto the active list. Kenji, last week, he was set to play, and Thursday they decided to sit him because, you know, he has a mild sprain to his ankle. They didn't want to risk that becoming a severe high ankle sprain that making him sit out for multiple weeks. Whereas if they just sit him 1 week, try to win it with Terry and Montel, then we have him for the rest of the season instead of, you know, we play him, we make him play through the pain, and then, we don't have him for the rest of the season because he gets rolled up on. It is a good thing that last Saturday, he was there. He was fully padded up. He was ready. He was the QB3 inactive that if Terry and Montel got hurt, if one of them got hurt, he could be activated and he was going to come in the game. So the fact that he was available to play last week, they just held him out, makes me very, very hopeful that this week against the Generals, the man is going to play, and we need 11 on the field because he can spin it. So very excited. But before I leave you, my last thing, we control our fate. That is my favorite thing in a football team. The most stressful thing ever, you know, me as a Vikings fan, is when we're going into last week of the NFL regular season and they say ways that the Vikings can make the playoffs. They need the Lions to lose. They need the Packers to lose by 8. They need blah, 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 and to win their game. No, it's none of that for the Gamblers. Right now, all we have to do is keep winning and we're good. We don't need anybody to lose. We don't need any of that. If we keep winning, we're in the playoffs. It is completely in our hands. I know it's annoying. Everybody's been saying it. It's like there's one saying every year that all football players say. This year, it's 1-0 each week. That's what we need to do. We need to be 1-0 each week, and we can do it. We'll get into the playoffs, and I'm confident that we can get to Canton, and then I will see all of you there. So that is what I will leave you with. Man, it's good to be a Gamblers fan right now. It is a fun time. We are winning games. We're looking good doing it, and they're having fun. That's the most important part. This football game is supposed to be fun, man. It's supposed to be fun. So I'll see y'all next week. Go watch that bonus episode of Isaiah Chambers. Make sure to like and subscribe this video. Once we hit that 1,000 subscriber, some random sub is going to get a signed Cavante Turpin Cowboys jersey. That's the reigning USFL MVP. So make sure you do that. I'll see y'all next week. Woo! Go Gamblers. All in.
I'm in the big leagues, so they don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney.